you've ever thought about renting a luxury motor coach, there's one company that has led the industry for several years. Today we're hanging out with Tyler here at Goss RV. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, Andrew. How are you?
Excellent. Always an honor to see what you have going on here at Goss. We've seen some of your coaches come up in the press lately. I know you're very well known in the luxury motor coach industry, especially on the rental side of things, but it's been almost a year since the last time we were here. So I want to hear some of your stories over the last year, and I want to talk to you about current rental prices, what coaches you currently have available in your fleet. And then you also mentioned you have some turnkey packages available for different events if someone wants to maybe go to a racetrack or a music festival.
Yeah, Andrew, it's great to have you back. It's hard to believe it's been a year. 24 was a great year for us, so we're excited to have you back. Hat's looking good, by the way.
Thanks, I wear it all the time.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, it's been interesting because 24, we started adding a lot of partnerships through Talladega and Bonnaroo, a lot of official sponsorships where we've been able to create plug and play events. Clients can just show up, we do all the heavy lifting, and they've got a luxury coach ready to go, stocked with everything they need. So we've done auto sports, festivals, events, races, everything under the sun. So it's going to be an exciting 2025.
Absolutely. There's a lot of questions I want to ask you about pricing. I really want to nail down some pricing on different events and different coaches. And I also want to ask you about one of the most, taboo things in the RV rental industry is talking about Burning Man. Have you guys ever rented coaches to Burning Man?
Yeah, indeed we have. Our high-end clients demand coaches at all types of events, right? From auto sports to festivals. Burning Man is one of those. So we've serviced Burning Man clients for, probably over 10 years now. It's been a while.
And about how many coaches every year does Goss rent during that Burning Man festival?
Yeah, Burning Man's a good event for us. We've got a lot of repeat clients that have trusted us for years and just continue to come back because of the coach they get and the experience that they receive with us. We know Burning Man very well. We know the procedures there. So we've got over 10 years, we'll probably do anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 coaches some years. So it depends on the Burning Man demand. Some folks will go every other year, skip a year in between, but it's been upwards of 30 coaches some years.
Wow, I can only imagine the stories and some of the names that you've dealt with putting that together. Now, a lot of rental companies will not rent motor coaches, even Class C RVs to Burning Man. Have you had issues with damage with coaches coming back?
Yeah, certainly, whether it's Burning Man or just our typical vacation rentals or race rentals, invariably there's some damage from time to time. It's usually minimal. With Burning Man, we've had really good luck because we have a strict set of guidelines. So the clients understand the coach needs to stay at the event the entire time for the duration. We've got strict set of cleaning standards and expectations. Clients understand that going in, so it's really created a good formula for both us and the client for that event.
Well, and the owner of the coach as well. I know owners of these coaches are trusting you to care for their multi-million-dollar coaches. So it definitely says a lot doing it for 10 years. And I also want to ask you about some of the rental income that owners can expect when they place their coach in the Goss fleet. And if an owner of one of these coaches doesn't want their coach to go to a specific event, do they have that type of control over the coach?
Certainly fine. It's their coach, Andrew, so we operate at their discretion. Right, if they need to use the coach, we defer to that. If they don't want it going to certain events, or some owners even have requirements about clients needing to use our drivers and no self-drive is allowed. So I manage the relationship with all of our owners. It's really a one-to-one relationship. There's no cookie cutter approach. So we're working directly with that owner to place that coach on the desired rentals from the owner. So we're working very hard to match it up according to the owner's desire.
Yes, sir, and you have a lot of experience to make sure you're keeping the owners and the renters happy. They've got the highest level of expectations, but I also overheard that you have a new coach in your fleet, one that I'm really excited about, the all-new Epic Motorcoach Prevost conversion.
Yeah, Andrew, we're really excited to have Epic 6717 in the fleet. This is an owner that we're thrilled to work with. We really walked with him through the process of buying this coach and then talking about how it would fit in the fleet. For us, we're product agnostic, right? So we've had a great relationship with Marathon for many years, but we've always had Featherlights, Newells, a couple Liberties coming in and out of the fleet over the years. So at the end of the day, we're just looking for the best rental experience for our clients that we can deliver. I'm excited about this Epic. It's a different look and feel for us, but I think it's going to do very well in our fleet, and I know we're excited to work with the owner on this coach.
Yes, I'm looking forward to asking more questions about that coach and how much it would cost to rent. Now, I also heard that you have a system in place to kind of guarantee rental income. If someone wants to put a certain coach in your fleet, there's specific coaches that you can kind of guarantee a rental income on?
We do. So we've tried to get creative, right? Because owners have different requirements with what they're looking to accomplish with the coach. So for some of the production coaches specifically, we've got a handful of owners where we have what we call a guaranteed revenue structure. So that's a guaranteed revenue amount each month that we agree to with the owners. It gives us discretion over the coach. So typically I'll get in front of every owner prior to a rental and get their permission, right? We talk through who the client might be, the mileage on the coach, where they're heading. The guaranteed revenue is a structure where we have a little more discretion on that coach, can send it wherever the rentals go, but it provides that guaranteed amount every single month. So even in our slow months, that client or that owner of the coach is getting that rental check.
And I'm sure you kind of tailor everyone's experience differently, but say someone has a coach that they only want to use for 1 month a year, and then they could put it in your fleet for the other 11 months of the year or so. That'd be a great way to offset their ownership expenses.
Perfect fit, perfect fit. We're actively looking for coaches too. We'd love to add a number of coaches, both on the Prevost side and the production side. And I think there's this misnomer that all we rent are the multi-million-dollar Prevost coaches. While we do that, we've got a lot of great production coaches too. Anything from kind of Fleetwood Discovery at kind of our value line on up.
Now, are there any specific coaches that you really want to have in your fleet that you're really looking for?
Yeah, matter of fact. So kind of general specifications, Class A, 40 to 45 foot diesel pushers, right? All of our fleet falls into that category. Specific coaches that we're really looking for right now, anything with 2 baths. So a Dutch Star would be a good example. We've got a couple For Travel Realms presidentials. Those are great renters as well. So really anything with that 2-bath model performs, and bunks performs very well.
Yeah, and I'm sure you have some sort of an age requirement. What's the oldest production motorhome? How far back do you go on the production motorhomes, and how far back do you go on the Prevosts and Newells?
Yeah, great question. Prevost side is generally about 2014, 2015 is the oldest active coach that we have in the fleet from a Prevost shell standpoint. I would say on the production side, really 2020 and newer. 2021 and newer is ideal. So if your coach happens to fit in those criteria, it's a great fit. Give us a call. We'd love to chat.
Yeah, great way to offset expenses, and then also just the storage of it. I know you have a location on the East Coast and the West Coast as well, but is there like a storage expense just for the owners that have their coach in your fleet?
There is. So we'll do service and storage with coaches that are in our fleet, and then we'll do standalone as well. So if a coach isn't in our fleet, we offer those services, but we'll store a coach nationwide. So that's back to the one-on-one relationship with the owner. If the owner's open to sending their coach out west, maybe if they're based on the East Coast, that's where a lot of the rental opportunities are for us.
I've got a lot of questions I want to ask you today, but this is a beautiful Prevost Marathon coach behind us. Is this coach currently in your rental fleet?
Yeah, so this one, Andrew, is not only for sale, but it's also in the rental fleet. And it's for the premium line of coaches. It's one of our best performers.
What year is this coach?
This is 2024.
So one of the latest and greatest from Marathon. Looks like an X3 double slide. Now, is this the nicest coach you have in your fleet currently?
This is very close, very close. This would be, I would say, number 2. Right behind it, we've got number 1, which is a 2024H.
Yeah, and this coach that we're seeing back here looks really familiar to me. I feel like I saw this coach in the publications, and then all of a sudden a bunch of comments started coming in on a video we did on this coach last year. Did you have any interesting rentals with this coach over the last year that it might have been in the mainstream press?
Yeah, you recognize this one, huh? From the video. Yeah, it's interesting. So we get calls for rentals from anybody and everybody, right? It could be affluent families, celebrities, entertainers, athletes. One big component are production companies that want to use our coaches to shoot. So this one happened to be sent to New York for a shoot. We didn't know a whole lot about the details. We're happy to provide coaches for production shoots or whatever your needs might be, but we don't take a stance on the reason for production.
And you never know what stories are going to come up from those rentals. But good to see it's back here in your fleet. It is currently available for rent.
It's been in multiple production shoots. It's been in the hands of celebrities and entertainers. So this coach inside of a year has provided over $100,000 net income to the owner, who's now looking at a brand new build.
Yeah, the owner is a friend of mine. I've talked to him about, he's been very happy with his experience here. He was kind of surprised at how well it worked out, and he has a new Marathon, 2 full bath Marathon, which I think is going to be the first 2 full bath Prevost that I've ever seen. But with him ordering that new Marathon, this coach is one of the only 9660 new body style Prevosts, and it is currently available for sale.
It is. This is a fantastic opportunity. Anybody looking for the very best from a rental perspective and then from a quality perspective. This is the best example in the country, I would submit in the world. It's a great opportunity for anybody interested in a top tier coach that will produce incredible revenue. We've already got built-in rentals on this coach, so we can give you somewhat of a pro forma for 25 and let you know what revenue we're anticipating with more rentals to be booked on this coach. So it's a great opportunity.
And how much is this coach available for right now?
2395.
2395 if someone wants to purchase it. Now this is the best of the best that you have here currently. If someone wanted to rent this coach, how does that work and what does the pricing look like?
We're very discerning when it comes to our renters. We do our very best to vet anybody that's looking at renting any of our coaches, particularly a coach like this. So we spend a lot of time with these renters, walk through what they're looking to do. Oftentimes what's interesting to me is, and most of the viewers are probably coach people, right? We're into motor coaches, we know about motor coaches. The majority of our renting base is not. And they don't know the difference in many cases between a production coach and a Prevost. So a lot of our job is education and really steering them to the right coach. This happens to be the best option for our top tier clients. So if you're looking at prices, you're probably looking at close to $30,000 a week for this coach. Now we've got our travel concierge that can white glove the entire trip and plan private chefs and helicopter tours. And certainly you'd want our driver, our professional operator on this coach as well to make that trip a great one.
And these new Marathons are about $3 million brand new. So a great opportunity for someone that just wants to use a coach for a short period of time or to buy it for 2.4. Great opportunity for someone looking for a new body style Prevost. Now, talking about the different experiences, you mentioned you have a few relationships with Bonnaroo and Talladega. If someone wants to have that turnkey experience where you've got, their concert passes, their camping, or their, infield spot at the racetrack and the VIP passes at the racetrack, what do those packages look like? And I'm sure you tailor it to everybody's needs, but what's some examples of what that would look like?
Yeah, so it's been fun over the last 2 years. We've really made an effort to link arms with a lot of these racetracks, festival organizers, et cetera. So I think for us, we're diversifying our business model so that we can give our clients the very best experiences. Talladega is one that we've really built a great relationship with over the past 2 years. So VIP experience, it's me to you from the finish line to your coach. I mean, it's 10 feet. You are right there. You've got hot laps. You've got access to food and beverage at a suite. You also have tower seats. So if you don't want to watch from the coach, you can go pop up in the seats. It is the best experience at Talladega, bar none. So we've got experiences like that at Talladega. A coach like this, one of the best, if not the best in the fleet, you're probably looking more like $40,000. That'll be an all-in package. Client just shows up, they do nothing. We have everything set up for them. Coach is stocked with food. They've got the hot laps, the tower seats, the food and beverage, the suite, everything they need is right there.
And then you have other coaches that it's going to kind of go down from there. So maybe for like 10 or 15,000 less, someone could probably get that same experience in maybe not this brand new Marathon, but one of the other coaches in your fleet.
A lot of great choices, right? So whether they want the very best in the fleet, or we can look at something like an Integra Aspire or Cornerstone, or Fleetwood Discovery. Those have been great renters for us, particularly for the layout. And if you've got a bigger group, those tend to be a great fit. Open up those 4 slides and you've got a lot of room at a race.
Absolutely, and a lot of value in getting that full concierge service. If it's someone's first time at one of those festivals, you're gonna really do all the hard work for them setting up. They get to just go enjoy it.
Yeah, leave the hard work to us, right? That's the business we're in. We're here to create those unforgettable experiences. So allow our travel concierge team to white glove everything for you. You show up with your group, have a blast, and it's a great time.
So this Fleetwood Discovery is one of your more entry-level coaches here?
It is. This is a great renter. This is the best value for anybody looking for bang for the buck.
Yeah, can we take a quick look inside here?
Let's peek at it.
Now this is a super nice coach. What year is this coach and what does this rent out for?
Yeah, 2022 Fleetwood Discovery, and this generally starts around $15,000 for the week.
And when you look at the cost of RV ownership, that's really reasonable. If someone's only going to use a coach for a few weeks out of a year, storage, insurance, registration on a machine of this level, $15,000 is really reasonable. Now, if someone wants to drive this and they've got some type of driving experience, do you have to hire a coach operator with this, or how does that work?
Yeah, actually, you can drive this one, Andrew. So some of the top tier coaches, the top end Prevosts, we require a driver. But certainly as Fleetwood Discovery, you can drive yourself. And most of our folks that rent this coach will drive themselves.
Yeah, understandable. And what are some of the, different situations and scenarios that someone would want this coach?
This is a great coach for specific reasons because of the floor plan. So if you've got a bigger group, for instance, we had 10 guys who chose our Talladega VIP package this past fall, and they all came from different areas of the country piled in this coach. You've got a Euro loft, you've got bunks in the back, you've got a pull-out couch, a lot of seating, so you pop the 4 slides out, it can accommodate a huge group. So races, it's been a great fit. Sit-still events, balloon festival. Families too love this coach because you've got the bunks in the back. You can partition that off when the kids go to sleep. You have your glass of wine with your significant other in the front, and you've got your own space up here.
Yeah, a really cool floor plan. There's also a drop-down bunk above the captain's chairs. And when you said 10 guys stayed in it, it does not look like there was a frat party in here. Your detail team must have cleaned up really well, but I would assume people at this level that have the means to rent something like this probably take pretty good care of your machines.
They do, Andrew. We have a lot of conversations with those clients as to expectations going in, and then we take hefty security deposits as well. So if something does happen, the coach is always made right after the fact.
I know you've got to protect your owners to keep these coaches in your fleet. Now I want to just walk through this coach real quick to check out this floor plan. This is a pretty rare floor plan that we don't see too often. It does have a bath and a half with a half bathroom up front here. And then it looks like a king size bed that's folded down right now. But this is cool with the bunks in the rear closet here. And then I see that you've got everything, like you would find in like a country club style setup. I assume you stage these coaches for the renters?
We do. We've got everything. We call it our housekeeping kit. We've got everything the client needs. So pots, pans, toiletries, towels, linens, everything they need. Our goal is really just to create a one-stop shop for them where they come in and have to do nothing.
We want that experience to be like it would at a 5-star hotel, I would assume.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, a lot of our clients aren't familiar with coaches. So they're coming from the private jet world or the yacht charter world. And so the expectation is very much the same. Our goal is to educate them on the coach, but we want to make sure that they've got the same amenity level that they would experience in that other, because oftentimes they're comparing that kind of vacation versus our rental offering.
Well, I know you've got some other coaches in your fleet. You think we could take a look around, see what else you have to offer here?
Let's take a look. A lot of great ones.
Yes, sir. So I know these Integras are really popular in your fleet. What are the story on these two coaches here?
So these have been fantastic renters for races. Both are couples coaches. So what's interesting about these coaches, Andrew, is we've got a gentleman driver in the IMSA circuit, and he knows that we're a nationwide company, and he knows the caliber of coaches that we can deliver at any racetrack anywhere in the country on any given date. So he's contracted out with us for a full year to deliver these two and another coach for about 6 or 7 races across the country throughout the year.
Well, I can imagine that's some good income for the owner of this coach to have that client that wants to keep using the same coach. And I know Goss is really trusted with A-list celebrities, people that have the highest level of demands. I can only imagine some of the obstacles that you have to overcome when renting these coaches out. And I've started to see like some apps show up that are different RV rentals and different RV rental platforms kind of popping up in the last few years. And you've been doing this a long time. What separates you from some of the other RV rental companies out there?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of competition in the space. Private equity has gotten behind some of these peer-to-peer. If you own a coach, you can throw it on a website and rent it. And there's some great options out there. I think our business model just happens to be very different, and it has been for 20 years because we're catering to a different level of the market. We're delivering a different level coach, and we're delivering to a different level client. So I think what we're able to bring, where if you're renting through a peer-to-peer, that coach may be available, it may not. It may show up. You may think you have a confirmed reservation, and you find out the day before your trip that you've planned for a year that coach isn't available. We will always have a coach available. We will never cancel on you. So for instance, if our renter that has used these at 6, 7, 8 races throughout the year, if for some reason this coach is damaged or has a mechanical issue, we can sub out one of our other coaches in the fleet. So we have full control over all 50 plus of our coaches around the country. So it's very easy for us to plug and play, not only to care for these coaches because they're always in our possession, but also to deliver the coach that the client booked originally so that they get that experience that they committed to.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. And I've heard some stories about some coaches that have been in some, on some of those websites and whatnot, and that have really bad deferred maintenance, your tires, all the stuff that you got to really keep a close eye on. Is there a certain maintenance requirement for these coaches that are in your rental fleet?
There is, Andrew, and what we try to do is keep these coaches on a maintenance schedule. So back to the one-on-one relationship with the owner, that's part of the constant conversation. Service intervals as they pop up, we can perform a lot of those services in-house. We'll contract out for some other services that we can't provide, but the care of that coach is paramount. It's critical because that determines the relationship with that owner. We want that ownership relationship to be successful, but it also keeps our coaches on the road and it keeps the revenue flowing for the owners.
Absolutely. Now, say I brought a coach to you with maybe 10-year-old date codes on the tires. Would you require an owner to replace the tires for it to be in your rental fleet, or how does that kind of stuff work?
Yeah, a certain set of requirements that we have for every coach. I think it's got to be a certain model year or newer, and certainly brakes, tires, all the critical elements have got to be up to par before it even enters our fleet. So that's definitely a conversation that I'll have if somebody is a potential owner considering adding their coach to the fleet. We'll walk through all those quality requirements and do a pre-inspection, make sure the coach is up to snuff before we bring it in the fleet.
Okay, and these Integras, there's a pretty big difference between the Aspire and the Cornerstone. What year are these two Integras, and how much do these coaches rent for?
So these are both 22s. And a little bit of price difference between the Cornerstone and the Aspire. So the Aspire, you're looking around $15,000 per week. The Cornerstone, more like $17,500. Now that's going to vary depending on your mileage and where you're headed, but those are good rough numbers.
And how many weeks a year will these coaches typically rent out?
Yeah, I would say, and that's part of the misnomer that we're trying to dispel, is when you place your coach in a rental fleet, it's going to get undue wear and tear. It's going to be put on 20 to 30 rentals. That's not our model, right? Our model is a boutique, high premium, low volume model. So even our most active coach, Andrew, is probably about 10 rentals per year. Average rental is a week, but consider some of those rentals are just going to be a weekend at a racetrack, right? So even the most active coaches, 10 to 12 rentals, most coaches will fall in that 7 to 10 rental over the course of a year number.
Okay, that makes sense, not having them hammered out, because if you have them rented back to back to back, that's when you start to get, issues. And I can imagine it'd be hard to keep up, maintaining and detailing these coaches. Now, what type of a split can an owner expect in return on rental income if they put their coach into your fleet here?
So in terms of revenue expectations, I always share with owners, let's take the value of your coach, current value of your coach, let's look at around 8 to 12% of that value, and that's what we look to deliver in annual net income to the client. So that might vary depending on how much access we have to the coach. Some coach owners use their coach more than others. It's certainly their coach, so we defer to them. So if they're using it more often and we have less access to it. So I'm on the phone with owners prior to any rental, and we'll walk through all those facts and figures, make sure that they're okay with it, and then they've got to give approval for that rental to go.
And owners can use their coach as they, feel free. They don't have to just have it in your fleet year round.
Yeah, they sure can. We've got a majority of coach owners that allow us to store and keep their coach, and we'll put it at whatever location makes the most sense. Might be East Coast, might be West Coast, depending upon the rental season, but it's their coach. We operate at their discretion. So we've got some coach owners who say, hey, I live in North Carolina, I want to keep the coach. So when you have a rental opportunity, call me, we'll come get it. So we really defer to them.
And I assume owners can utilize some of your concierge style services too, even if they're an owner of the coach and they want to have a driver go deliver it and set it up somewhere. I'm sure there's a cost to that, obviously, but do you offer that same type of service to the owners as well?
Yeah, we love when that happens. We love when that happens. So we've got owners all the time who will use our services if they need a coach delivered to a racetrack. They might be a gentleman driver themselves. We've delivered a lot of personal coaches for the owners for races, or we have a lot of calls from owners too who say, hey, I haven't been able to use my coach much. I want to get out west and take the kids and the family to do a national park trip. So we position the coach out west to capture the rentals out there, and then it's a great excuse for them to fly out, use their coach while it's out west.
And I can imagine with all of your resources, have you ever managed coaches for race teams specifically?
We have. We've worked with a lot of race teams on a rental basis through many, many years, right? So that's a market that we've played strong in over the past few years. COVID changed a little bit of that, but we're back in that space now, and we're working with a lot of race teams. We just booked a couple deals at our Talladega VIP spot for race teams. And then, as we mentioned, we've got some folks who are in the IMSA circuit, the NASCAR circuit, and others, even F1 in some cases, that will rent from us and use our services.
Well, I mean, that'd be a great way to have your coach managed. And then in the off season, get a few rentals out of it to offset your coach expense, I could see how people in the Motorcoach sports world would really want to utilize your service here.
It's a perfect scenario, right? Because these coaches are sitting a number of months throughout the year. You're still paying taxes, you're still paying maintenance on these coaches, in some cases storage. Let's put it to work on selected proper rentals for the coach, and let's generate revenue for the owner as a result of that.
Yeah, great opportunity. Now, I want to take a quick look inside of this Integra Cornerstone, but I also want to ask you questions about that Epic Motorcoach, what the pricing is on that. I think that's going to be a hot coach in your fleet.
We're excited about that one.
Yeah, let's take a quick look in here. Well, this is a nice Integra Cornerstone here. This has the Cummins X15 with 605 horsepower. So if someone is driving and they want the big dog motor, this is a great option. Now, you mentioned $17,500 roughly for a week to rent this coach. But if someone wanted to use it for a month, is there any discounts on longer rentals?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll do month-long rentals. In some cases, we've done 6-month rentals. So we'll work with that client, typically 20 to 30% discounts if you're looking at renting a month or more. So give us a call. We're happy to chat through a long-term rental.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I've told people if they're thinking about RVing, it's definitely worth it to spend the money to try it out, dip your toe in the water, because if you think you could buy one of these and then just, turn around and sell it a month later without it costing that, it's going to be very difficult to do. If you purchase one of these, just plan on $50,000 to $100,000 as soon as you drive it off the lot. Do you have a lot of people that are kind of first time or thinking about RVing that come and rent these coaches?
We do. It's interesting because we have 2 types of owners now in our fleet. We have those that maybe own production coaches that have been looking at buying a Prevost, and so they've come and rented an X, an H, an older one, a newer one, to figure out what they want, and ultimately they become buyers and they're owners in our fleet now, so we manage their buses. And then the other section are folks that are new to coaches. Maybe they don't own a coach at all and they're looking at a production coach. Well, we've got a host of options here, so they've rented with us, and then that's been their entree into the coach world, which has been fun for us to watch because they had no knowledge of coaches, and now they're in our world, which is great.
And really nobody that I'm aware of is renting this level of coach. There's companies out there that you can get a little Class C RV, $100,000, RV. These are $1 million MSRP new, so to be able to use a machine at this level, definitely a great option for someone to be able to use it and try it out before they dive in $1 million.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the misnomer is that we only rent Prevosts. That's not the case. We've got a whole lot of great production coaches. We're always looking for new coaches. So if you are a coach owner and your coach fits those criteria, let us know, because there's a demand for rentals of this caliber. And I think COVID changed a lot of things, right, for the worse, but a lot for the better too, because the Motorcoach world exploded as a result of that. And so we're having folks that are considering either buying a coach or taking a vacation, doing an event in a coach that never would have considered that otherwise. They're sticking with the private jet or the yacht. Well, now they're considering our world, which is fantastic. We love it.
I think once they experience the RV lifestyle, the camaraderie amongst Motorcoach owners, and then also just, being able to be there 10 feet from the finish line at the racetrack or at the music festival and just, stumble from the concert back to your coach, and it's like you've got a luxury condo right there. There's nothing like it. It's really priceless experiences. Now, what are some of the other uses that folks are going to rent a nice, bath and a half? I don't see bunks in this coach. This is going to be more of a couples coach. What are some of the other uses that folks would use this for?
Yeah, couples coach is great. We see a lot of retirees. Article in the Wall Street Journal a couple weeks ago about RV retirement. We're starting to see a lot more press. So we do have a lot of folks who are retired who will rent a coach like this, couples coach, no bunks, and they'll do a small national park tour. It's their first experience in the coach world. They get excited that they can drive a coach like this, and just the two of them will park hop and they'll go to different national parks and we'll plan the trip. Or they'll do family visits too, right? They're going to see relatives in certain parts of the country and looping in a Motorcoach Country Club or a visit to one of the premier RV parks across the country. So it's been exciting to watch that.
Yeah, I can imagine. We were just out at Motorcoach Country Club, and definitely a 5-star experience out there. Now, does your concierge team, help them set up their stops and kind of plan out that trip ahead of time?
We'll do everything for them, Andrew. So it's not necessarily 24/7 butler service. We'll do everything but, right? So if they want a private chef, if they want a helicopter tour, a lot of our clients are doing the national parks, both in Utah, that swing, and then they'll do kind of a Montana, Wyoming, Idaho. And so we've got that mapped out. We know that area better than anybody. So we'll create an experience for them, depending upon how many days they have, how many guests they have in the coach. We're going to create an incredible experience. And we can go as elaborate as they want or as bare bones as they want. But if we want to fly in a private chef and walk out to your helicopter tour after doing a privately guided hike, we got you covered.
Yeah, I can imagine some of the stories you guys have. Now, you mentioned there's no 24/7 butler, but if someone runs into an issue in the middle of the night, say they don't understand how to work a certain system, is there a support system that folks can call 24/7?
There is, and that's really the difference, I think, when you're renting with us versus any other shop, be it a higher end rental shop or one of the peer-to-peer shops. That's our differentiator. We have 24/7 service. So if you have any issue, now we always encourage rental clients, particularly those that aren't familiar with coaches, use one of our drivers, use one of our operators. It's a better experience for them. Even if you're an accomplished coach driver, use one of our folks, because you can sit back, and coach owners know that there's work involved with coaches. Farm that out to us. Let us handle all that so you can enjoy the trip and enjoy that journey and those excursions or experiences that you book. Use our driver for that. If there's any issues, he or she will take care of that on the road and connect with our team back at the home office if needed. Otherwise, if they're self-drive, we have a 24/7 service line. Any issues come up, we'll get you taken care of.
And with you and your team managing all these coaches for this many years, I can imagine you have quite a network of different service centers and different resources to help folks in different situations.
We do. We got great partners all over the country. Couldn't do it without them. So some are Goss facilities, some are contract facilities, but we've got some great partners, and a lot of our trips originate out west, right? So we're based here in Atlanta, where we're sitting today, but a lot of those trips will start in Utah, they'll start in Vegas, Salt Lake, etc. So we need to make sure that we've got the network set up to care for those coaches, but also to have the clients embark from a great location and start the trip and end the trip on a good note at that facility.
Yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of really cool destinations out west for sure. I know one of the biggest advantages of RVing is being able to travel with your pets. Do you allow pets in these high dollar coaches when they go out on rentals?
Yeah, pets and toys. Andrew, don't forget Pelotons. We have clients bringing everything and anything on the coach. So really whatever they want to bring on the coach, as long as it meets our requirements, we're happy to help out. And we've got a lot of folks who might be looking at a private jet option or other transport options that end up choosing a coach because they can bring pets, Pelotons, and other things that they might want to transport.
And if an owner has a coach in your fleet and they want to veto any rentals that need pets, is that at the owner's discretion?
It is. It is. We'll clear that with the owner. So remember, it's a one-on-one relationship. So I'm getting in front of that owner to make sure that they approve of that rental, whether it be pets, or we'll have random requests like wrapping the coach. We do a lot of corporate shoots. We just did one for one of the largest banks in the country. And so I'll seek approval from that owner, be it pets, wrapping the coach, any kind of special requests, anything that's out of the ordinary. It's the owner's coach. We want to make sure that they're okay with that before we put it to work.
Yeah, and on something like that, I know there's some time involved in the coach being wrapped. Is the renter paying for rental days while that coach gets wrapped, or is that a process that you can streamline?
It is. So the renter generally pays. We've got a few select wrap providers that we use that are fantastic, that we know are going to take care of the coach, do a good job. So the renter generally pays for that. They're also going to pay for that time in production. So whether that's wrapping, de-wrapping, or just prepping the coach, they're going to pay for that rental period, absolutely.
And I think some of those wrap companies out there that do these tour buses day in and day out can get these probably wrapped in a day or so it's not too bad. But roughly, what's the expense? It's been a while since I asked about wrapping a bus expenses. Do you know what the going rate is in today's dollar?
We do. So we just did one of the largest banks in the country. You'll see a commercial campaign right around the Final Four time. It'll be released, but that was about a $20,000 to $25,000 wrap on a Prevost. We've done a lot of production wraps too for bands and different folks promoting things, and that'll generally be about $15,000 for a production coach. So about a $10,000 delta there between a Prevost and a production coach.
Yes, sir, understandable. I'm a big fan of Ford Travel. What is the story on this presidential?
Ford Travel Presidential 2023, Andrew, this has been a great renter. You know, I think for us, it really fits that niche between kind of production coach and Prevost. It sits right in between. So the price point for our renters is fantastic. It looks great. I love the blackout package, and you got 2 full baths. So for our renters, bunks plus 2 baths is a home run.
Yeah, 2 showers, and I know they have some floor plans with an actual bathtub. Does this have the bathtub in it?
It's got the bathtub. I know you're a huge bath fan, so this has got the bathtub. This is the coach for you.
Yeah, very sought after floor plan. Now, how much does something like this rent for?
So this coach will be about $22,500 to $25,000, somewhere in that range for a week, depending on what they're looking to do. But this has been a great renter for that price point, and particularly for sit-still events, it's been a really good performer for us.
Yeah, another really cool option you guys have here.
Yeah, so we've got 3 or 4 of these in the fleet, and they always do well for us. People love the aesthetic, they love the look inside. 4Travel does a really good job outfitting the interiors, and then I think the exterior paint looks great as well.
So if someone wants to put their 4Travel in your fleet, that's definitely a coach you guys would like to have in your fleet?
It's one we'd love to have, Andrew. I think 2 or 3 coaches we're in need of right now. 4Travels, really anything with 2 baths. So even a Dutch Star, which we've had a couple of those in and out of the fleet, they've performed really well. I would love to bring a newer Dutch Star into the fleet. Or anything at that price point with 2 baths performs really well in our fleet.
Now the Prevost Epic Motorcoach really filled a gap in the market below $2 million for a brand new Prevost. I'm really excited to see this coach in your fleet. What is the availability for this Epic Motorcoach, and what does it rent out for?
Yeah, Andrew, we're really excited about this coach coming in the fleet. Brand new, just a premium offering that's the only Epic, to my knowledge, in a rental fleet available anywhere. So we're excited to be able to offer that and work with the owner to charter out this fantastic coach. That Epic will start around $25,000 for a week, and just what a fantastic offering. A little bit different aesthetic inside than Marathons or some of the others that we have. So we're not partial to any converter. We love just offering premium luxury coaches, and especially bringing non-coach folks into the coach world, and having a coach like the Epic to do it is fantastic. So it's available now. We're starting to book right now. We've already got some existing bookings on it, but it's available as we enter the spring and summer peak season for us. So we're excited to be able to position that coach.
And it is a bunk coach, so lots of sleeping and a really cool style, almost like a yacht marine style to it. That'll be a great opportunity for some folks to make some cool memories in.
It's a great renter, it's a great looking coach, and I think for the price point, I think Epic hit it out of the park. There was a need for that in the marketplace, and I think that translates great for us from the rental standpoint, because it is a bunk coach, which most of our clients prefer, and the look is just fantastic. So I think it'll do very well in our fleet.
And when I originally met Marco, who's the builder behind Epic Motorcoach, who's converted a lot of Prevosts through Ultra, he's right down the street from you guys here. So I remember when I met him, I'm like, you got to get hooked up with Goss. And I think I said the same thing to you when I first heard about them. You got to get hooked up with Epic. So really exciting to see that the owner of that coach decided to put it in your fleet here.
It's a no-brainer. We love the aesthetic of what he builds. Marco has done a great job with Ultra. I think he nailed it on the Epic, and that's what we love, is building those relationships, and to know that he's 5 minutes down the road is fantastic. So we look forward to a strong relationship going forward.
So this Marathon X3 double slide is one of the nicest coaches available for rent right now, and it is also available for sale. But how much does someone need to rent this coach, and then how much would they need to purchase it?
So per week, $27,500 roughly for the week. Going to depend on your mileage, but that's a good range. This coach is for sale, $2,295,000.
So 2.3 and no wait. I know the new X's are pushing on 3 million as well. So do you mind if we take a quick look inside this coach?
Let's take a look.
Tyler, this is one of the best looking Marathon coaches I've ever been in. Really cool design in this X3.
Yeah, Marathon knocked it out of the park. They've really been stepping up their interior game, and I think this coach is a result. It's one of our favorite renters because it's got mass appeal. Everybody loves the exterior paint scheme, that gray and black, and then it's just super warm and a great combination in here.
Yeah, the design team at Marathon really was firing on all cylinders, and those front captain's chairs have a really cool pattern and all those cool little Marathon coach touches. Now this is a bunk coach I see with a mid bathroom.
It's in high demand because it is a great color scheme and because it has the bunks.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to do an in-depth video really going through this coach. But I'm seeing up here, it's almost like some type of an internet setup. I know internet is really important to motor coach users nowadays. What type of internet do these coaches have?
Yeah, so every coach will come with a MiFi, with the Wi-Fi unit. And in most of our coaches, we've installed Starlink. So that's been a great option. A lot of folks are working on the go and they want full functionality, even though they're on the road, so that'll provide that for them.
And has Starlink been pretty bulletproof, or have you had issues with Starlink at all?
It's been great. You know, we beta tested it about a year or so ago, and we had some of our owners place it on their coach and check it out, and the reviews have been great. So we've had really good success, particularly as we're sending coaches to remote locations for vacations and different spots. It's performed really well for us.
Now, stuff like that, is that something that you get done for the owners? As say an owner says, hey, can you add Starlink to my coach while it's in the rental fleet, or do you standard just put those MiFi systems in, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we'll work with the owners. There's constant upgrades that we'd like to make to these coaches, right? We want to make them appealing to our affluent client base who's renting these coaches. So Starlink is becoming an expectation of clients. So we'll work hand in hand with owners. There's a split cost arrangement in some cases, and we'll give them discounts in some cases, but it is their coach, so it will be owned by them. So we'll place that equipment on their coach and work with them to make sure it's a good deal for all parties.
But whether it has Starlink or the MiFi, every coach is going to have Wi-Fi that's in your rental fleet.
Without a doubt, that's a requirement. And smart TVs too, that's been a requirement. You get kids on a coach, they want to stream all of their shows. They want to jump on YouTube and watch RVing with Andrew Steele and check out all the great options, right? So that's a requirement. And if we do have some coaches that have older TVs, we swap those out, we upgrade, we work with the owners to make sure that those coaches are kept current.
Yeah, so I can imagine your renters at this level demand the latest and greatest. This is one of the more popular floor plans with this style lounge, I'm assuming?
It is, yeah, I think it accommodates, especially with the big couch here and the dinette, it accommodates a lot of folks. So whether you're cooking in the coach, you're bringing in the private chef, or you're just hanging out, it's been a great spot to do that, and the dinette has worked well for that purpose.
And then the bunks in the middle of the coach, I really like. You can adjust this bunk to lower it to make this into a closet if you'd like.
So a lot of our clients, whether they need bunks or not, they like that option because maybe they have kids obviously going in there, but pets too. We've seen some creative scenarios to keep pets in there. And if they don't have company using that, they'll just drop that down and use it as closet space. So it just creates a lot of functionality. And then some clients will have guests along the way. So they don't need the bunks for the entirety of the trip, but when they stop at Motorcoach Country Club and they have friends and family come visit, they have extra space to stay.
Yes, sir, and I really like the way this works because when you put the one bunk down, if you only have one guest staying in your coach, they have a much taller bunk area, so a little more comfort there.
Yeah, most of our coaches have bunks for that purpose. Even if clients don't want the bunks, it's still functional space, and you have them if you need them. So whether you have extra folks on board or extra luggage, hanging clothes, you've got the space for it.
Yeah, really nice to have that space. And then this mid-bath is really pretty. Of course, you know, just the tile work Marathon Coach uses in their shower. You can see that above head shower head just over the top. Still a really good sized bedroom here. Is this the super slide in the bedroom, it looks like?
This is the super slide. And what's interesting to me, Andrew, is most of our clients that are renters are not familiar with coaches. And so their expectation level is yacht level or private jet level. That's what I think Marathon Coach has done a great job with, a huge bedroom, super slide in the back, and just great amenities and features throughout the coach.
And then a walk-in closet back here as well.
Yes, walk-in closet.
Yeah, that air door will open that, and then
stackable washer dryer. So again, no compromises while you're on the road. Good hanging space, particularly for those that carry a lot of clothes with them, like some of our significant others. So a lot of space back here.
And all the drawers finished out in the closet like you would find in a high-end home. How many miles are on this coach?
About 17,000 miles on this coach.
It definitely feels, smells brand new. It's been very gently used, that you could tell.
Yeah, it's very few rentals. Again, we're a premium rental shop, so these are only selected rentals that the coach is going on, and this one's in high demand at that premium level.
And I can imagine folks that are renting this level of motor coach are usually pretty clean, I would imagine.
They are generally, we require our driver, our operator on this coach, so it's well taken care of from the operations standpoint.
So they're not thinking about having to run the slide rooms out or dump the tanks.
No.
The driver takes care of all that.
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. It's a way to protect the coach for us, but it also creates a better experience for our renter because they have nothing to worry about. The operator can handle all those issues.
And I'm assuming the driver probably just stays at a hotel nearby, or how does that work? Where logistically for the driver to be close by to the coach?
Yeah, we'll generally throw a tow car on the back, and the driver will get the client situated at night or wherever they're stationary that day, make sure they have everything they need. They'll grab the tow car and then head to their Airbnb or hotel for the night.
Yeah, I remember several years ago, I was staying at Polson Motorcoach Resort, and I saw a black Suburban drive up, and a gentleman walked out and handed the gal her cup of coffee. And I asked, I'm like, what is going on with that Marathon Coach? Someone said, oh, that's a Goss rental, and that's the coach operator bringing coffee to the guest that morning. So I'm sure there's a lot of little benefits of having that coach driver with you.
Yeah, you know, we're blessed and fortunate, Andrew. We've got a whole set of operators that are just fantastic human beings. They've got experience from either prior law enforcement to entertainment, where they've driven Madonna and Lady Gaga. And so if the client wants to engage and hear those stories, they've got plenty of them. But the clients are well protected, well taken care of while they're on the road if they choose our operators. It's just a better experience for them.
Yeah, I can imagine you have quite a vetting process to hire your drivers. What's your vetting process?
We do. They go through a series of interviews, background checks, etc. And then we've got an entire training program. So, and what's interesting is we've had a couple owners that have entered our fleet that are coach enthusiasts. They've since become drivers. They've gone through our training program. So that's really cool to see. It's really kind of the evolution or full cycle of an owner, a buyer becoming an owner, and now having a kind of an interest in the company as they're an operator. So we'll put them through rigorous training, make sure that everything meets our standards, and they can deliver the experience to the client that we expect.
Yeah, I can imagine that's a pretty fun job. You probably have quite a few people lined up for that position.
We do. We get, and as a matter of fact, because of your videos, we get a lot of calls from operators. So we're always looking for great new folks. So if you have an interest, let us know.
And of course, only the best of the best.
Only the best of the best, absolutely.
So now, if someone wants the best of the best, this is the one?
This is the one. This is the top of the line, cream of the crop. You're looking around $30,000 for a week. We often have clients call and say, I want your very best bus. This is the finest rental bus in the world.
Can we take a quick look inside?
Love to. Let's take a look.
We've got the opposing sofas up here, a little bit different floor plan than we saw in the X, but this is a double slide and this is a bath and a half coach?
This is our optimal floor plan. The double couch is up front. We had a billionaire one time that all he wanted to do was go from West Palm up to Manhattan and play cards with his buddies. And he required 2 couches so that he could sit here with his 2 buddies and his other 3 friends could sit here. We put a table in the middle. They just played cards the whole way up. So this double couch scenario works really well for families, bigger groups, and you've got the jackknife sofas, obviously, so you can sleep folks there. Great dinette. Put a lot of folks here if you're hosting a dinner, and then got the bunks in the back with the bath and a half. It's just an optimal floor plan for our renters.
Yeah, really cool design in this coach as well. Marathon Coach has really been knocking it out of the park, but I've got to show everybody a cool little kind of hidden feature that Marathon Coach has. They've got this art door right here with looks like a Florida scene here, but then when we open this up, there's actually a washer dryer hidden back here. And then this is a bunk coach as well.
This is a bunk coach as well. 90+% of our coaches are bunk coaches because you have that space, right? It can be converted to closet space, can accommodate guests, just gives you a lot of flexibility.
And there's a backlit accent wall in the shower there, another backlit accent wall here for the backsplash. And again, that shower head coming out of the ceiling. So many cool touches. I believe this has heated floors all the way through.
It does throughout. Again, the expectations of our clients, some of which know coaches, some don't know coaches, they are the highest, right? So they have high expectations of sacrificing nothing on the road. It needs to be equivalent to a yacht or a jet, and so Marathon's done a really good job.
Here we have a king-size bed and then a second half bathroom here in the back of the coach. I believe this does have a door it'll close off as well.
Just really convenient. Somebody's still getting ready while the rest of the group wants to hang out, so you can partition that off. But that bath and a half is huge. Adding that extra half bath just gives that prep room and space.
And then it looks like it's got the doorbell camera here as well. So if you're laying in bed and someone rings your doorbell, you can just look at your camera, see what's going on outside.
Well, you don't want to have to get up, Andrew, to see. So we want to provide that convenience for the clients. Absolutely.
So if someone calls you looking for the best of the best, how much are you going to quote them again for this coach?
So this coach, top of the line, will be about $30,000 per week. Now this coach is also for sale, so assuming it gets purchased, this owner has a brand new build on order with Marathon, and so that might take the reign of cream of the crop, but right now this is the absolute pinnacle. Nicest coach you can rent really anywhere in the world.
If someone wanted to do a monthly rental on this, what would it be, around $100,000 a month?
It would be. We'd look to discount that obviously on a monthly basis, so generally a 20 to 30% discount from the weekly price.
And if someone wants to purchase this, would they be able to put it back in the rental pool?
They would. The hope would be that it would stay in the rental pool, so we would have that conversation with the potential buyer or the potential new owner of this coach. We can pro forma and show them the booked rentals that are already on this coach for this year going forward. And so we can give them a pretty good projection of what that revenue might be. But that's a great part of the equation that I think comes with a coach like this.
Now, I'm going to throw a little curveball at you here. Now, what if someone buys this coach and they want to just drive off into the sunset, use this as their personal coach? They don't want anyone else sleeping in it anymore.
Yeah.
What would you do with the rentals that you already have booked for this coach, or how would that work?
Yeah, ideally we want this coach staying in the fleet, but we can certainly have the conversation with them. I think part of the conversation that we have is education on what our rental fleet is and is not. And so that usually overcomes a lot of objections where somebody might say, I'm opposed to renting my coach. Well, let's walk through the reasons why. If it's use, we can understand that and we'll do our best to work around that. But if it's care of the coach or fear of undue wear and tear, that kind of thing, we can usually address those. And just show the model too of how we can generate some good revenue to offset those expenses. And usually that wins folks over.
And then also you would have a backup. His other coach is going to be coming into your fleet here, his new marathon in April or so.
Hopefully April it'll be done and we'll go pick that up from Morgan and it'll be in the fleet.
So the first 2 full bath marathon coach that I've ever heard of is going to be available for rent here this summer.
It's exciting, Andrew. And I think it's been a great relationship with Marathon because they have learned a lot about our renters and learned a lot about our model. And I think we've helped kind of push the boundaries and help them grow a little bit with some of the owners and their requirements on what they're looking to do with new builds. So I think the relationship works all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely. Really cool what you and the team at Goss are doing for the industry here. I think this is a great option for folks to be able to experience the Motorcoach lifestyle without having to spend a couple $1,000,000.
Yeah, absolutely. And our goal is always to elevate the luxury Motorcoach experience, right? So viewers that are watching this that are coach owners, they get it. They understand this world. But our goal is to bring that non-coach world into our world and introduce coaches to them. And I think that's why we love all converters, right? We're product agnostic. So any top quality coach that can deliver a great experience to clients, that's what we're looking for. So that's been a great relationship with Marathon and Featherlight and the Newells and Liberties and others that we've had in the fleet. So we're looking forward to just building this lifestyle over the coming years.
Yes, sir. Well, we really appreciate the opportunity. Now, if someone wants to rent one of the coaches or put their coach in your fleet or purchase one of the coaches we talked about today, who should they contact?
Yeah, they can go to our website at gossrv.com. They can always call us. From the renter standpoint, we always like to have that conversation personally with that renter. We don't book online because every trip is different, right? We try to create a customized approach for that renter. Maybe they know the days they're traveling, maybe they know the locations where they want to go, maybe they don't, but we want to have that discussion with them so that they're placed in the best coach that's the best fit for them. So they can go online, www.gossrv.com. Matter of fact, you've got all of our coaches that are available in the rental fleet, but also the coaches like this one that are for sale. We always have 5 to 10 coaches that are for sale. And they can also call our sales team, our rental specialist team at 770-938-2035. And we'll walk them through that conversation to make sure they get the perfect coach for their needs.
Well, you mentioned there are situations, depending on the logistics of the coaches, where sometimes there may be a coach that's in a certain area that may be a better deal. So I can understand you're always tailoring that coach rental to that owner to try to make the best match.
That's exactly right. Yeah, we've got owners who maybe they're based on the East Coast. We've got their coach on the West Coast right now maximizing rental opportunities, and they want it brought back east. Well, we can work with potential renters and create a deal. That coach has got to come back east anyhow, so let's work some kind of positive scenario for the renter and for us to get that coach back.
Yeah, awesome opportunity for someone out there. Tyler, thanks again for your time today, sir. Really appreciate it.
Love it, Andrew. Hey, you're welcome anytime.
Appreciate it. Also greatly appreciate all of you subscribing. We hope you're all having a great day. Thanks again.
Take care.